I just want to say I'm very sorry, my fellow Chibits, for this review of Haikyuu being late. I've been waiting for my Tokyo Ghoul review to render because it takes at least a couple hours for, you know, Tokyo Ghoul chapter reviews to render, and that's why Haikyuu was kind of delayed, because my computer, like, just dies when I'm rendering something that long. So now that I said that, let's get into this week's episode review of Haikyuu. So I guess you can consider these past two episodes, or this episode, as a training episode, or training arc. And I'm really loving the way Haikyuu is handling this type of training arc. It feels very different from the normal training arcs you see in Shonen, and it also has this pizzazz about it that really stands out and keeps you entertained from the start to the finish. Now, this episode is mainly about evolution of Kageyama and Hinata and how they're going to progressively get better as time goes on, and to see how their teamwork is going to be a lot better when they finally sit down and do a real match. It's just going to mesh together, and we're going to get to see what they have increased or grown in this past couple weeks or whatever since the last time they played a match. So, talking about Kageyama's side first, I love the overall dynamic of this episode, how it equally spends the time on Kageyama and Hinata, and we have shared time, like one half's focused on Hinata, one half's focused on Kageyama, and we get to see the perspectives of them of how they try to improve themselves. At Kageyama's side, he tries to figure out, is he really tossing for Hinata? Like, is he giving Hinata the tosses he wants? Is he being selfish and not doing what Hinata wants? And also, is he really the person in control when he does the tosses? The main thing we come to find out is actually Hinata is the one to control the ball, because since he is the spiker, he's the one that really has the say-so on the ball when it finally gets there, and he navigates it in the air. So I really like how this episode was showing what type of role, or what the roles of Kageyama and Hinata at the same time. And Okawa actually popping up in this episode was a plus for me, just seeing him pop up with some new dialogue, talking to Kageyama, seeing their dynamic between each other, and how, you know, we had a comedy scene with it, which really freshened up the life of this episode, because it wasn't just a serious episode about training, but you also had these character interactions that kept the comedy flowing, that didn't feel like it was out of place, especially when it came to the Okawa scene, when, you know, he pops up like, oh, bend down like that, I want to take a picture, stay like that, and he took a picture. That was just priceless, and it really reminds me of the relationship of Kageyama and him, and how it was in Season 1, and then seeing it in this episode. It was pretty great. Now, moving on to Hinata. Hinata's situation in this episode was very similar, but a little bit different in terms of the way it was going. We get to actually meet the old coach of the team, and get to see how he used to train people, or probably how he used to train the Little Giant. I love the correlation of Hinata and the Little Giant in these past couple episodes. I really need to emphasize that this is a really cool thing to see, just to see how Hinata is walking in the footsteps of the Little Giant and getting better, and he's actually saying certain things that the Little Giant said in the past. So pretty cool right there, just seeing how Hinata reminded the coach of the Little Giant, when you see like that quick glimpse of flash that reminded him of the Little Giant. Now, back into Hinata's development, Hinata learns how to change up his tempo, how to kind of tackle the ball, and how to visualize the ball in the air to where he can actually keep up with the ball, and he can have different setters throw him the ball, and he can spike it. So Hinata was learning how to actually hit the ball, and the tempo, how he would hit the ball, and how to deal with different type of setters. Because let's be realistic here, not every game in the possible future is Kageyama probably going to be a setter, because something could happen. Maybe he could injure his foot, maybe he throws out his shoulder. I mean, anything can happen to where they have to change a setter. So with this, Hinata learning how to spike a ball from different type of people helps out quite a bit, because it won't just be a duo where they both need each other. They can at the very least try to be on their own. They could stand on their own. Even though they're a duo, they help each other. They at the very least could stand on their own and then support each other when one falls. You get the point I'm getting at. So it's mainly always been Kageyama that's kind of supported the pillar a little bit, but now it's like Hinata's like, you know what, I want to push that pillar over, and I want to be able to support as much as you do, and that's kind of how it is. So a really good episode to show that type of relationship between these two characters, but also the evolution of how they're going to be playing in the future. So I can't wait to see this training arc, where it's going to go, and what direction that, you know, it's going to show us before this season ends. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.